Today's episode is brought to you by Security Financial Management.
Ooh, welcome back to Best Advice Podcast, guys. I'm your host, Rob Lovaglio, here as always with Dad. It's me and you again, baby.
The smartest man alive.
That's it. MLK Day, it's just the two of us.
MLK Day, it's what, January 20th?
That's
MLK?
right. Yeah, MLK Day, Martin Luther King today, so we got to honor him. He did some great things, really.
Yeah.
The office is closed, but hey, we had to get our podcast in.
Yeah,
this morning.
of course.
And, so we're
Doesn't
here.
stop over here, baby.
Yeah, it's just us. That's all right. That's all right.
We like to start each episode with a powerful practice of positive thinking. We like to call this, give me something good.
Give me something good, just what I like.
Give me something good, Rob.
I love them. I don't care what anybody thinks about them. I'll always love them. Even when I'm 105 and an old grandmother, I'll love them.
Mine's simple today, man. It is make sure everyone that is in your circle is also in your corner.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there's a lot to that, right?
Yeah. Because I can go deep, man. You keep people in your circle that make sure that their hands are out to give as much as their hands are out to take.
Yeah, well, that's true. Well, just because you run, and I think that's really good. And you see, Rob, as you get your dad's age, you get in your 60s, and you start seeing that more clarity. It's there's people that you can run with, but then there's people that you run with that are always having
run towards.
Yeah, and they're just there's true friends. So we can go deep, but we'll keep it light. But it's a great quote because it's just you want to surround yourself with people that care about you and in a higher way that are always
ready
there
to
for you.
strap on the boots when
right.
needed.
That's right. That's right. I remember it reminds me of my daughter Caroline. His sister set me up with Instagram so I could see all the baby photos from my daughter Sarah and the three grandbabies. And they have great inspirational stuff on there. And I'm going to get this all wrong, but there was one movie where this one, A actor, I forget his name, comes to another guy and he says, "Hey," he goes, "we're going to have to do something tonight. It's going to be ugly, it's going to be mean, and it's going to be bad." And the guy looks at him and he goes, "Whose car are we going to take?"
Yeah, it's the town. It's a great scene. Yeah.
He goes, "Whose car are we going to take?"
That's the one you keep. That's the one you keep.
That's in the circle right there.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're going to hurt some people.
Whose car are we going to take?
You watch any of this?
Chug it, football all night.
Yeah, we got to talk a little football, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's great football weekend, whether you're a fan or not. The playoffs are always exciting because single elimination stuff is great,
It's
like
so
March
cool,
Madness.
football. Yeah, it's so different.
Yeah, anytime you go, it's one and you're out. It gets everything's on the line.
Anyone can win one game too.
Yeah.
It's like it changes everything.
It does.
It's fun to watch again. Yeah,
That's it. Everybody, there's no tomorrow in those games.
It's like, well, how would you ever not go to like a Alabama because you saw UCF, they won every game. They went undefeated, and they couldn't be. They claimed national championship.
Right.
They had the parades
Right,
downtown.
right.
It was a big fuss. It
Right.
just makes it makes any 5-star recruit be able to go anywhere.
Right.
And
That's
actually
right.
Play. Yeah,
that's
which is
right.
cool.
Yeah, but anyway, a couple little things that just you got to love Josh Allen for the Bills. I mean, everybody, and I'm not a Bills fan. I like Miami. I'm from Long Island, so I kind of like the Giants. But you got to love a guy that just puts his body on the line every day. And I was reading about him because he just continues to play at a very high level. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that nobody wanted this guy. And this is a great story about perseverance. He went to Reedley, Reedly Community College.
I don't know what that is.
Who knows
what
what
is that?
A major national college football brand.
And then nobody wants him, right, at a high school. So he goes, all right, I'm just going to go to a junior college. I know I'm good. I believe in myself. I'm going to develop. And then he becomes really good at Reedley Community College. But even then, think of all the big schools, right? Auburn, Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame. He gets recruited by the University of Wyoming. Nobody wants to go to Wyoming. Sorry if you live in Wyoming, but it's like, we'll take you,
We're not taking clients from Wyoming.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a cowboy, baby.
I mean, it's a great state, but, when you're a stud, a 5-star recruit, you're not going to Wyoming to play. Anyway.
Although, shout out Wisconsin. I lived in Wisconsin for a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of similar. I love Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's a great state, but that's not where you go to play big-time football.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, you know what happened. So he gets all kinds of records at University of Wyoming, and then the rest is kind of history. But I love those roots, in Reedley Community College.
That's
crazy. That's a pretty.
I think football is the only way you can sport where that's even possible.
Yeah,
like in basketball, you can't go to a D3 school and all of a sudden end up in the
very
NBA.
rare.
You know what I mean?
Very
like,
rare. Although Curry played Davidson, right? Small D1,
but
so
that's
there
pretty
is
damn good.
He leaked through.
He went straight out of high school.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know what's funny is John played at Winter Park with Jeremiah Rivers.
Yeah.
He told me his senior year, he went to, when he was trying to getting recruited and going to those camps to find a school.
Right.
It was like the very end of his senior year. So like it's like the people who haven't committed yet.
Yeah.
And his partner at that camp was Steph Curry. And he had no offers.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I mean.
He had no offers yet.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
what
like,
I
this
mean.
is Steph
Yeah.
Curry.
Yeah.
LeBron was already in the NBA.
Right.
At 17, basically.
That's my point. I mean, he did sneak. Davidson was kind of, that's small D1. But anyway, it's cool to have people that believe in themselves. I mean, you can go all the way back, and we can get all kinds of excited because we love sports. But Michael Jordan, of course, everybody knows he got cut by his high school team. And
JV, sophomore year.
Yeah, so like you're not good enough to play. You're going to have to wait a few years.
It wasn't even like a good school either. It wasn't like a top, like a Oak Hill or something.
Yeah, it's just a regular high school.
Yeah.
But, I think that when you look at great people that do great things, there's something that inspires them, right? A guy that gets fired from his job becomes an incredible entrepreneur.
Yeah,
it's that, I'll show you, right?
Yeah.
Proof is...
Think I need you. Just wait, I'll show you. Right. Yeah. So let's get to the question of the day. Today's question comes from Bill from Melbourne. Bill, what you got for us?
You want to say something?
All right, guys, Bill may get a delay of game penalty on this one, so bear with me. Bill says, hey, guys, thanks for all the advice. Want to get your thoughts on the expiration of the 2017 legislation that significantly lowered tax rates, doubled the standard deduction, and cut corporate taxes. Bill says he's nervous about the potential effects of reverting to higher tax brackets and the impact on transferring his family trust. Do you think this will get extended? Any tips or strategies for possibly filing in a lower tax bracket, even with higher tax rates and lower standard deductions? If not, is there any strategy to compensate elsewhere if the gap becomes too large to close?
Delay of game.
Thank you, Bill. Dad, I know you don't like starting first as much as you don't, but you're going to have to today, buddy.
I usually take the questions anyway because I love grabbing the questions.
You do.
But today it's me anyway.
It's all
so
you,
I think
baby.
I'll take it. No competition. No, with today being Inauguration Day, again, we don't do anything political on the show because we all know that's dangerous. Whatever you say, 50% of the people are going to be mad at you, so we're just going to not talk politics. But it is Inauguration Day, and I do want everybody, again, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. It's been different over the last, of course, 4 years ago it was a Democrat, now it's a Republican. I do think that, again, this isn't political. This is just a statement of love. I think whoever it is, 4 years ago it was a Democrat. Today it's going to be a Republican. Inauguration Day today. We stand behind him. We're one great country, and this is who the people pick. So let's hope that we kind of heal and come together and just support whoever's in there to make America great.
The country as a whole.
Yeah,
right?
just to make the country great.
Yeah,
that's really what matters.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop there. We're gonna stop right there. But it does remind you, with it being Inauguration Day, that in 2017, the first term with Donald Trump, there were some tax cuts. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017.
That's huge.
It made me think about it this morning because getting ready to do the podcast. Well, this year it's again, so 2025, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act expires.
Scary.
It's gone. So what does that mean? You got to sort of lean towards thinking with kind of Republicans who won, marginally in a few areas, but the House and Congress, probably they'll extend those, right?
Yeah.
Because you got a Republican president, again, not political, just factual, Republican president, Congress, and the House are Republican. Again, razor thin, which I kind of like because I sort of like balance of power. I actually like when if a president is Republican, I don't mind if there's a Democrat that controls the Senate or vice versa, because I think balance makes our country even better. Whole nother subject, not going to go there, but it's just kind of, I think balance is good for the country. Nevertheless, with 2017 Tax Cuts and Job Acts, I think it'll be extended to a certain degree because of what I just mentioned about control of the House and Congress. But what's going to go away? A few things I think are important. For anyone that owns any kind of coastal property, whether it's on the beach, West Coast, East Coast, in Florida, or anywhere, or if you're up north, we have a lot of clients that live up in the Northeast. The one of the things is that $10,000 state and local tax credit forever you got a much bigger deduction. Well, in 2017, $10,000 was the cap for any state and local taxes. So think about that. If you live on a coastal property, everything's going to be over $1 million if you're on any kind of beach or water. Well, $10,000 of taxes, you're limited, right? It's probably every $1 million, to be really vague. I know in Florida.
So wait, your max tax for
deduction
for the beach property in
any beach property was $10,000 or anywhere. So if you're in California, right? So if you live in California and you've got a piece of property worth $2 million, and you can't buy anywhere really nice in California or for less than that, or you're on the beach property, your cap starting in 2017 you could deduct on your taxes was $10,000 flat. Well, those property taxes could be, let's just be really rough and say every $1 million is $22,000, where $2 million is $44,000. Just real rough math. It's not $10,000. I can assure you that. So that's a big deal. It's a big deal. So for those people are saying, hey, the repealing of the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, they're kind of happy about it, going, hey, maybe I can, my beach property or my California property or places that are expensive to live, maybe that goes up a bunch more, because that was a big pill to swallow.
So they
deduct more.
Deduct more.
So you
can only deduct up to $10,000.
Yeah, that was the big.
After that, then you're eating it.
You're eating it.
You're eating it.
Right. Wow. So again, back to that example: $2 million piece of property, real big, $40,000 of property tax. The first 10 was deductible. $30,000, you had to eat it. You got nothing. So those people that have higher end properties in the Northeast and coastal properties are going to be happy about potentially that going away. In other words, more juice, more deductibility. Most people, and the other major thing, and we're going to make it kind of short in honor of MLK today, we're going to make this a little shorter, is the federal state tax. That's kind of a big deal because right now in 2025, an individual can pass just under $14 million as a gift or a federal estate tax transfer for one person. If you're married, slightly under $28 million. So if you have a very large estate and you're concerned about something changing when the sunset rules take place December 31st of 2025, without a change, it's going to be cut in half. So instead of passing $28 million as a married couple, it would go back to $14 million. Now, there'll be some inflation adjustments in there, but get with your CPA, get with your financial advisor. If you don't have one, give us a call. We'd love to guide and lead you to the right folks. But that's a big deal. $28 million is quite a chunk of money if you have a lot of wealth to pass on without paying federal estate taxes versus going back and being repealed to 50% of that pre-2017. So that's something you want to think about. Get with your CPA and really think through it.
That seems a little off, right? Because inflation has gone up the roof, right?
Right.
Now what they're saying is since 2017, we might actually at 2025, I guess it would be 2026.
Right.
We're actually going to have less deduction or what was standard deductions.
Right. Yeah, standard
our tax
deductions.
bracket's going to be higher.
Right. It could be. Right. That's what's going to happen if that gets all repealed.
And lower standard deductions. So to try to get into that lower tax bracket is just they're just pushing it away.
Yeah, well, it's just, the whole 2017, the goal, it'll be interesting to see all the facts that come out on did it reduce the deficit, because whole nother subject, and again, for a whole nother show, is we got a pretty escalating deficit.
Yeah.
So let's just, we got to stare it in the face and say, hey, let's be fair and balanced. That's not great.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know that statistic, but you can see the clock ticking every minute. It shows how much more debt we owe. It's not a pretty number. And so that's something they're going to have to pay attention to when they really study all this, because when you raise taxes, that's to reduce debt. So, or one of the things that can reduce debt. So there's a lot of moving parts to this, but big picture is really pay attention, knowing that in the end of 2025, that federal estate tax is really going to change. The other thing I wanted to mention on the inflation thing, even if it goes back, which I don't think, again, with a House being more Republican, I really feel like they're going to extend those. That's my guess. Yeah. But there would be some kind of an inflation factor, too. So, Rob, they wouldn't go back and say, all right, whatever it was in 2017, it's going to be exactly half.
Okay,
they would put in some indexing and some inflation indexing in there to make sure they're adjusting for inflation. It's a great question, because most people don't realize that they're going to throw some stuff in there. But But again, we wanted to keep it short. I hope those are a few things that you pay attention to, and have a great day today.
What do you think, Granny?
Oh, I like it, Jim.
Thank you, Bill. Remember, folks, the secret to wealth is not what you earn, it's what you keep. Happy days, everybody.
This podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only and is not intended as personal financial advice. Before making any financial decision, please do your own research and consult a financial advisor as needed. If you have a question for the guys, email podcast@bestadvicepodcastguys.com.